RPGaDay 2026, day 26. So now we reach the final phase in basically the history of this region and this part of the world we've been building, and that's the starfall. The boomtown status of Pittsburgh would not initially be affected by the starfall. There would be an influx of refugees that would strain local food and housing, particularly from the village that was so severely damaged by the starfall itself. And the routes to the mine camps would be briefly disrupted, but because of the impetus to keep that gravy train rolling and to open up the road to both the mining camps and the continued trade caravans, the roads would be reopened and trade would increase as miners came to the city for supplies that they normally acquired from the nearby village. Sages and exploratory expeditions and other curious parties would show up seeking the star. Over time, as the star's energy spread, the area would gain a reputation as being beneficial to health, like you would get from mineral baths and hot springs, natural areas that eventually spawn a sort of spa culture. And later on, to being a place to acquire unusual strength or ability as people became more saturated with the star's energy and felt themselves to be extremely healthy or even extremely powerful. But then reality would set in. Farmland would become desolate. People with long-term exposure would begin harming their fellow people. Slowly at first, but ever more quickly. First, the people who could afford to, and then the people who simply could and had to would immigrate out of the city and out of the region near to the star. Those left will be the ones who physically or emotionally, my family has lived here for generations, or perhaps religiously, I will not abandon the house of Mahat, or incapable of leaving, or simply those succumbing to their own addiction to the power of the star. So this then is the creation of the ever-living. The arrival of enhanced creatures or weird beings would complete the transition of Pittsburgh from a thriving boomtown city to a desolate city in ruins inhabited by just almost entirely by unusual beings. But the supply runs and the convoys to and from the mines would continue. The economic boom would transition elsewhere. You would have more armed, faster traveling, heavily laden convoys traveling to and fro. And at higher levels of government and of other organizations, discussion of how to and even whether to bypass the infected, devastated region would begin to take place. And the execution of those options would begin. And that's where this world finds itself. That's the status of the world that these factions have been established in.